Off the Record is a neutral opinion-based platform. The views expressed by guests are their own, and do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts or the producers. Off the Record is not affiliated with any political party or agenda. We aim to explore ideas across the spectrum using open dialogue and spectrum street epistemology. Our goal is to challenge group polarization and break down echo chambers. By creating a safe space for honest, respectful conversations, all discussions remain within the boundaries of Canadian law, including hate speech regulations.
This isn't left, and this isn't right. This is Off the Record Canada. In a world where echo chambers shout louder than the truth, where mobs cancelled before they are questioned, and where opinions are more about teams than thinking, we're breaking the cycle. Here, we don't debate to win, we ask to understand. Using the power of spectrum street epistemology, we're hitting the pause on the noise, peeling back the layers of unbelief, and asking, why do we think the way we do? This is the spot for the curious to unravel what is going on behind the scenes, the ones who feel stuck between extremes. We are here to break that group polarization because we know the truth is always somewhere in the middle. Welcome to the conversation you didn't know you needed. This is Off the Record.
Hello, folks. This is Off the Record Canada. I'm Stephanie, and we're coming to you live from the studio. This is the dashing Jerem and the enthusiastic James.
Hey.
So, today we were going to talk a little bit about a discussion we had at a university. It was Mount Royal University in Calgary, Alberta, and this is our first time ever doing this spectrum street epistemology. I can't say that word. Anybody want to try? Attempt to say that?
Epistemology. You got it.
So, epistemology. So it was our first time doing it. At first it was slow. It was quite successful, and then I
had to duck out for a bit.
He had to duck out, ducker-outer. And then we had a sad moment, James.
Oh, the camera did not record. However, we live, we learn.
At the best part where we had a group of people doing such a good conversation about a bill, and we'll dive into what bill that was, but oh my goodness, it was such a good, healthy conversation and discussion with people having different stands, and every mat had a person standing on it. This is
exactly why we're here. This is why we have this, discussion. This is why we talk to people, is because we want healthy discussion to kind of challenge their thoughts and make everyone think, you know what, I think I can understand, I can move over in the spectrum and agree to here, and change their thoughts a little bit. That's what we want. We want to kind of bring up healthy discussion, healthy thoughts. And this is kind of, unfortunately we didn't get to see it, but we still had some other people, show up, and we'll share some of the footage over on that.
Yeah, we're trying to find a neutral ground and not putting pressure on anybody in any way. And if they don't feel comfortable being on film, that's all right. I mean, we're still getting a discussion in, and overall, they're getting their voice heard, and just being able to bring awareness to stuff like this bill in particular, I think is very important. Because a lot of people didn't even know about the bill at all.
Exactly, a lot of people.
Yeah. So
honestly, there was a lot of everyone's going seriously, that is actually a thing. And so it was a great opportunity to kind of educate some students. It was not like we're the most educated people, but bringing that to their understanding was honestly an awesome experience for everyone. They got to know more about the policies, and we became more edified, because we all got to grow from the experience and learn from it. Because not only us, we spoke, but they also spoke to us and we heard their thoughts as well. And that was very important. I think, honestly, we need that discussion. That's why we need these bills.
It's so healthy. So the bills we were discussing was Bill C-63, that's the Online Harms Act, and Bill C-9, Combating Hate Act. So that bill has been proposed by our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and we had very interesting, I guess, takes on it. And these kids they're smart, okay? I don't think people give them enough credit.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we're going to now dive right into some of the audio footage we have for when we visit Mount Royal University and did the Spectrum Street Epistemology. The statement we took when we did this experiment was we took the statement that Canadians would benefit with stronger hate speech laws, such as Bill C-9, Combating Hate Act, and Bill C-63, the Online Harm Act. With these statements, we asked the students what their opinion was, and if they had room to perhaps change their view on the mass. And here's some of the raw audio from this experiment.
You stand on this?
Yeah,
I can't stand on this.
That's
because I'm like, I can't.
What is that trying to say? Like,
it's saying Canadians would benefit with stronger hate speech laws, such as these proposed laws, like Bill C-9, Combating Hate Act.
Why would we benefit?
You can tell me your thoughts on this. So this is what's proposed, and just so you know, our platform is not a right or left leaning platform. We're trying to break up group polarization. Why do you think it would make it worse?
Ruin people's lives
if you just
over
talk about
their opinion.
There is a debate.
Because a lot of things that people have an opinion about now, it's mostly like
we can just kind of think,
I feel like, especially white people,
maybe
I feel
you
like
disagree and
they
I
get
agree.
like in trouble
And
with
then
like
I
anything
say,
they say.
try to convince you.
And like I don't know how to like put that into
understand
like
what
a
you
good,
mean. Maybe I'll
in good words.
Like,
it ruins people's
it's
lives.
not to
over things that like, okay, yes, this person shouldn't have said that, okay, but like, do we think that their lives
and make everyone
had to
aware
have been
what's
ruined?
going on?
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's kind
yes,
of like,
it's a terrible thing, and yes, like I wouldn't be friends with them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't associate myself with them, but I don't think that their life should be affected that greatly.
You know,
and
if
their
you
image should be
decide
tarnished.
to say some hate speech online,
I feel like that's just wild.
And
It all came out.
I just can't wrap my head around how there would be a law.
See, well, that's what, like right now, like not leanings outweigh the pros.
I feel like, okay, if it's like an insane thing,
really,
Yeah.
like if you're like,
There's definitely certain things that shouldn't be said, right? I mean,
it does.
there is a line still, but
I feel like we kind of got a little softer, and like we kind of got like, okay, I understand if you're walking around saying yeah, like okay, like that's insane, but like if you're like, for example, like the whole political thing, if you just have like an opinion, like oh, like this is why this and this and this happens, and people can get in trouble with that, like I don't think that's okay.
well, and that's why like there's different parties and people vote different ways.
And that's more than some of our criminals that are, like there's men that have child porn that are like abusing children, and we're seeing in Canada that if we're lucky they can get 3 to 5 years. And this is more.
Something that somebody else didn't like.
This is 10.
Someone that's actually done something criminally insane kind of gets off. Like, don't do that.
Like that's actually insane. I didn't even know that.
Well, and that's why we're trying to like bring awareness, but we're trying to do it non-confrontational. We're like, look, even if you lean left or right, it doesn't matter.
I understand, right? Like you lose your job, or like you lose your job or something, but like going to jail for life is insane.
Yeah.
And like mind you, like this is stuff. Like I'm not gonna lie, I went to a high school where people used to say insane stuff because we were like immature, and even in college people still do. And it's like, imagine like going to jail for something you said when you were dumb.
Well, you're growing and learning, right?
You're growing and
especially in college. College is where
That's true. It's
Stupid here, like
aren't they?
like everything's stupid here. Like people are gonna say things, then you're gonna go like 10 years later when you're mature and you're gonna be like, oh, like I shouldn't have said that. But you shouldn't have to go to jail for the rest of your life.
yeah. Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, we're just trying to say, like, look, whether you're left or right, is this bill the best interest of Canadians?
No, I don't understand how that would be the best interest. Like, okay, they said it. Okay, if they're gonna go to jail for 20 years, is it gonna take away like they said it? Like, is it gonna take away from what they said? Something crazy.
Yeah.
And after now they have to go to jail for 20 years. Let's say it. Yeah, like I'm a Christian, and like I'm pretty sure there's like some, I don't know what it was, but I heard a country that like if you like try to like street preach or evangelize, then you can get in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's basically what they're trying.
A lot of things that the government has been doing lately hasn't been for the better good of the Canadians.
I don't disagree. Because we're being fed by the algorithm what we've watched into so much, that's why it's breaking people up. Because when people are united, they actually have more power than the government. But when we're divided in our information, then the government has actually more power than the people.
Well, because a lot of us are just kind of fed these two different sides, and it's better that because we want to be kind of like, because I agree on some things, I agree on disagree on different things.
So like I think that there's great stuff on both sides.
Exactly.
Terrible stuff on
And if they would work together, the problem.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, do we actually need like because we can agree that both sides are very polarizing.
Yeah.
So I think we need actually a bit of both to balance ourselves out. I think we're off balance right now.
We are.
And I think why can't we have both? Like, why does it have to be one way or the other?
Literally, like even when I was speaking with my friends, and like I always get in trouble for both sides because I'm like a centrist. So they're just like, but how can you think this? Like, you're against my human rights. And
So I want everyone to have human rights. Everyone have rights. You know, everyone have their choices. Everyone can say whatever they want. I don't think you need to be pushed, like, because for me, I might think, like, some people might think a certain way, but not everyone are in the same boat as each other.
Thanks. See ya. Okay. And remind me of your name one more time.
So my name is Margot. I'm a transgender woman, born and raised in Canada with first-generation Ukrainian grandparents.
Wow. Okay. And okay, with the statement we have here today is Canadians would benefit with stronger hate speech laws such as Bill C-9 Combating Hate Act and Bill C-63 Online Harm Act. And I can see right here you're on strongly agree. Okay.
Yeah, so in regards to hate speech compared to free speech, I think a lot of people conflate the concept of free speech being in regards they are able to say anything without consequence, whereas you are able to speak your opinion freely, you are not able to enforce that opinion on others without consequence. And so even though we do have some laws in place that focus around different things that could be classified as hate crimes. For example, the targeting of a religious institution right now is charged under mischief. Mm-hmm. Whereas if someone's burning down a church because they don't agree with it, that is not an act of mischief, that is an act of vilification, that's an act of hatred committed towards the church. And that can be applied to any community if you're trying to not so much coerce, but force them to align with your personal beliefs. Mm-hmm. And so I think by protecting people's freedom of being themselves, even though you could argue that this does infringe certain rights, it's not necessarily the rights of free speech, it's the rights to not encroach on others' freedom.
I love how you put that it's not like to encroach on other people's freedoms, but it's merely to protect, because words do have consequences whether people believe it or not. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Words do have meanings. I mean, without them we wouldn't have the concept of slurs, we wouldn't have the concept of language in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have words to mean different things, and those words do have an impact. So I think, well, for example, we are told growing up, words can't hurt us, but when those words are twisted and aligned in such a way that they promote the vilification of a group
or dehumanization.
Exactly. That's when it comes into issue. there's no issue of disagreeing with the group. The issue becomes when you say a certain group shouldn't have the right to be a group, or any infringement on the rights in that regard.
So you think this would benefit Canadians, even though the jail sentence is quite long?
Yeah, so I do think realistically people won't respect any law without proper consequence. Look at speeding in Alberta. So many people understand, oh, if I'm speeding down Deerfoot and I get caught by a camera, I'm getting a $40 fine. $40 to speed, a lot of people can afford that. But by showing that actions have consequence, it encourages people to think about their actions. I think generally the usage of bills that protect the freedoms of people to express their personal freedoms compared to collective freedoms are unfortunately needed with how many aspects of vilification that we see present in today's culture, not even against like transgender minorities, but even against like religious minorities. We see a lot of vitriol, and it's not an issue that necessarily affects one group. And that's one thing that these bills, especially Bill C-63 is regarding, is it's not about targeting individuals, but it is saying that online platforms do have a responsibility to ensure that content that appears on their platforms is legal, like it is within the confines of the law of the jurisdictions they're operating in. And we saw that with the news, for example, where a lot of Canadian news companies are no longer able to present their views. But that's not because Canada locked them out, it's because those companies were not willing to pay the fees to actually have their content published in Canada. It wasn't an act of the Canadian government infringing on the news organization's freedom of press. It was a matter of them not willing to comply within Canadian publication laws.
I think too it was funny because at first we're just getting a lot of the same people in the same agreement point, and it was nice when all of a sudden somebody showed up and they jumped on the other side all together and was like, oh, great. All right, we wanted you to show up. And it was good to hear from them because not only do other students get to hear the other side of stuff, but we do ourselves too. And it's just up for a better discussion and understanding. It was fun to watch people even shift around the different mats as we were talking.
So the Spectrum Street epistemology is basically like for an open discussion, right? So what it is we have these mats, and you'll see the mats, we'll include it here, but it ranges from strongly agree to strongly disagree to neutral. And unfortunately
we missed two.
We forgot to bring two of the mats. So in this case, it ranged from disagree to agree to neutral. So it went agree to slightly agree to neutral, and then slightly disagree to agree. So we brought the mats, and at first people were really shy. We had students that were like really freaked out to like approach, and we were just smiling.
And he hit me, he's like, "G'day guys, how you doing?"
And they're like, "Just don't make eye contact." And they're walking past, because I think like a lot of people thought, you did some really good observation too, but I think a lot of people thought we were kind of like Charlie Kirk or Turning Point of idea.
There was a lot of different ideas from people, and you could definitely see it watching and trying to feel out their conversations and stuff. I get it. It's new, and in Canada, we just don't have the same thing as the States has. Which can be unfortunate, but I think we've got a good take here of letting people open up and hear their voice without it being, well, I think this. It's just people are starting to get their voice heard and maybe hear stuff they didn't before, because let's face it, when you're one direction or the other, you're mostly hearing from that side and not the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was honestly an awesome experience. Like I heard that that we had like just different type of diversity and stuff like that, and I think it was just an awesome experience. And I think, I think that's what we were really out for. We really want to hear people's thoughts, because I think we all want to grow in our opinion of everything, and that's why we here to, off the record, we're not here to, just simply push ideas on everyone. We want to hear everyone's thoughts. That's why we're not, we're more just neutral stance. We kind of we take here and, for us, we have our thoughts here and there, but you have your thoughts here and there. She has her own thoughts, he has her own thoughts, everyone has their own thoughts. We have agree and disagree situation from each other. And that's why we're here together to kind of gather and talk about things, so we all don't have the same opinions on exactly everything.
And why we're doing this is I feel like there is harm being done through information, and there's a lot of group polarization because a lot of the media, because of how the algorithm works, the more interested you are on a certain topic, the more the algorithm will push that topic on you. Now, it's not bad, but here's the harm when it comes to stories or politics. And the harm becomes that you're only hearing one side, and that's what's being ingrained in your mind. And I use this example quite a bit with the students, like how I have a friend and she has a different political standing than I do, and she came to me one time and she's like, hey, did you hear what this party is doing? And I was like, no. I was like, where did you hear that? Well, did you hear what this party is doing? And she's like, what the heck? What are you listening to? And I'm like, what are you listening to? And then once we shared with each other, we had more of a neutral point of view. So because of the way social media works with the echo chambers, that's why it's causing group polarization and mob mentality and fighting, when I bet you a lot of us actually can get on the same page. And that's why I'm so sad that it didn't record when we had that big group of kids, because that's literally what we witnessed.
I was going to say, that's what we saw today. We literally saw people that have debated each other before on campus there, that they have never gotten along, and they shook hands and they were like, wow, this is the first time we've got along. And that's it. There is a lot of common ground we can find. We just need to be open for discussion for it and not just drive one way and one way only. We need to be open to hear both sides.
100%. And we'll show you some of the footage.
Because regardless of what you're saying, 10 to life in prison is very extreme for words being said, no actual actions, right? Also, how do you get around things with intoxication and things like that, where someone's not fully in their own mind? So does it still fully apply the law to them, or do they have some sort of part?
Well, that's
also,
the thing.
People that have mental disorders that could potentially be saying things. That's a
very good point.
Also,
actually, no one's made that point about people with mental. No one's actually brought that up.
Can't control what they're saying. What's it called? Tourette's.
Tourette's.
That's not hate speech. Obviously, people know. But if someone didn't know they were in public, and someone goes up and goes, "I fucking hate you," and I don't care. You don't have Tourette's. They don't believe in whatever. Now they're pressing charges.
Trying to be neutral and trying to.
We're discussing policies with Canadians and be like, okay, Canadians, whether you're team left or team right, let's not have teams let's break apart this bill of what's being proposed, and if it's actually in the best interest for Canadians as a whole. It doesn't matter if you're left or right leaning. Is this going to cause more group polarization, echo chambers, and more basically disinformation?
So you guys are asking the question, you're not giving the answer kind of thing. Because I know we usually have the people with the...
And that's why I'm saying you made a really good point, right? That's why we have a statement, and then people are like, okay, do you agree with this statement? Some people are like, I disagree. Some people are like, well, I can agree. And then we're just having a conversation, not trying to prove anybody wrong. It's like, okay,
trying to hear everybody out.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be most interested to see what, say these bills went into place, what would be what would get you life?
What's the stipulations on it?
To get you life? Because again, they are words, so you are technically restricting speech. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people that the U.S. is having a whole thing about that.
Exactly, yep.
There definitely should be hate speech laws still. Because there are some things that just do not need to be said.
That's
totally agree. but do they need to be this extreme?
Another thing that makes it even difficult is how do you charge it? Because say there's a report of verbal abuse, something like that, where it's now chargeable, but there's quite literally no tangible evidence except I told you that they said this, and there's going to become a lot of false accusations as well. I guess I'm most interested in who would this benefit. Canadians would benefit. What Canadians would benefit by certain people going to jail?
We shouldn't have to be worrying like team this, that team that. It shouldn't matter who's governing. It should matter that they're actually putting things in place that are in the best interest for the people, not in the best interest for their parties or ideas or narratives, because not everybody sees the world that way, you know.
It feels too unrefined to actually say what it would do for the general population.
So
and then you bring up another point. Well, how do you get around unintentional interpretation?
That really do seem to hate certain group of people. I do think that these protections are needed too. Are needed. So I'm gonna say I slightly agree with that.
Okay, why slightly, right? Or are you agree or slightly agree?
I think slightly. I don't think that life in prison is necessarily like, I feel like that's just a bit too much time for hateful comments.
I think, unfortunately, people aren't being quite wise with their words towards others. But it's a little intense, isn't it? Like the bill, where maybe it needs to be refined a bit more.
Yes, I think that's it. I don't entirely disagree. I think that's a good start, but I think that they need to refine the bill and just
Yeah, we talked a bit about that. So you were here with us last time, and unfortunately the camera didn't go. I'm devastated because there were great points that were made on, and I think we had a lot of people on varying mats. But how was your feeling, I guess, takeaway with that conversation?
Yeah, so generally, and I am someone with quite a few friends who would be classified as traditionally conservative. But the thing is, ultimately, I think every Canadian wants the ability to be themselves. They want the ability to be who they are without infringement. And I think sometimes what happens with these fringe groups on both sides is that they feel that they are being targeted a bit more heavily than other groups. And so I can understand the fear of someone saying that someone protesting against, say, abortion because it's against their personal belief, being fearful that that might be contrived as hatred. I understand that fear, but there's a very big difference that is noticeable between saying, I don't think abortions should be the first choice of healthcare for pregnant women who don't want a baby, as compared to someone with a graphic sign showing a very gory image that could be triggering to people who have experienced any kind of physical trauma, not just necessarily people who are pregnant and considering abortion, but anyone who has been in any experience where they've been exposed to viscera. And that's when it becomes, in my eyes, a bit more hateful, is when you are including these images to try and scare people away from the concept.
We're at the very beginning. And so as long as you deal with finding our ground and stuff, and we'll get it. It'll get better as it goes.
So salty inside because if I told you, if you could only listen to some of the arguments
it was so good.
These students were so powerful,
War
so
stories.
good.
War stories.
War stories, legends. No, they made such good political points. I honestly think they made better points than our own government makes.
It's what would be great is if we can get to the point where some of them in government are actually watching this from time to time. What would be even better is to actually, down the road as we grow and everything, that we can actually get some of them on.
Yeah, interview them.
Down the road.
Get some
on
guest
here and
interviews.
chat.
That's a hope, honestly, getting more people involved in talking to some celebrities or someone about these kind of things. We'd love to. If you help us, we'll get that.
Yeah, so you better stay
Be patient. We got this. Just baby steps.
What stood out to you during the big group discussion?
Oh, there's a few things that stood out to me. I mean, one of the things was when we were there before like the heavy class got out, because that's when we got a lot more attention, especially as our group was growing, it got more attention. But a lot of people were very unsure as to what we were doing. There was, I'm sure, a lot of judging right away, thinking, oh, we're this, we're that. We had a lot of them talk to us about how there's other stuff that's been on campus. The number one thing that was talked about was abortion.
People
enthusiasts.
A lot of people wanted to discuss about abortion and pro-life, but we're like, you know what? That's a hot topic. We understand, but we're here to talk about this bill.
Yeah, and I mean, we're open for a lot of discussion, but we got to control the conversation to a degree. And I mean, it'd be great if we can have a time where we have an open slot. I mean, that's more as we grow too.
I just feel like that is something that's been over discussed, and that's why.
Well, I agree. But I feel, especially because we're here in Canada...
And we're still pretty new. I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to talk about.
I think it'd be a great thing to talk about, especially because these students do have the pro-life people that come on to campus, and they bring their images and stuff. And this is what they were saying, was all they do is they come and they just shove this stuff down our throat. They're not giving them a chance to be heard, which is what we're trying to do here.
Exactly. And the cool thing about today is, even though we had people standing at very different stances, they came away like very friendly. Like I think everybody came away uplifted because nobody's thoughts got put down.
Well, and it was great watching people like shake hands, like great to meet you. Like people are finding people they wouldn't probably usually talk to on campus. And I mean, yeah, you had some that were still very much in their corner. They would not budge, but that's okay. Even just being able to have discussion and bring the knowledge forward is huge. And I think we've got a lot of potential to do a lot of good and bring more people together.
I think honestly the experience is just a great opportunity for everyone. I think honestly, I reckon that I feel a little sad that I wasn't there to see the whole unfold.
It was so good, Jerome.
It was so good.
I'm really saddened by it, but you know, I think bringing up such can of worms can also bring such contention at the same time, which we want a freedom of speech, but I think we need to be careful of how we open it, because they might want to talk about it, which they might come with their warhammer.
I think there was two times in the group.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. So there was one time in particular that one side was wanting to really bring up a certain situation that was kind of off topic. Like it was kind of tied in, but kind of more so off topic. Mm-hmm. And you could feel already the heat right away. And Steph stepped in and she was like,
moderated it.
And that's what we will do. We're not going to cut people off from being heard, but
I'm going to moderate.
But we need to have some control of the situation. We're not going to
let it become chaos.
Yeah, and just be a yelling match. We've seen everybody has seen that on a lot of different college things.
And I think, frankly, we're sick of it.
I think we also just need to be more experienced of how to disarm such a situation. Like, I think we're too new to it to kind of deal with such a situation. I think over time, we'll figure it out and be able to. I mean, it worked really well today, and they were still very respectful and kept going. So
exactly. I mean, and I only had to step in twice. I think once I was like, okay, guys.
There was one time that was the time that was starting to get heat, but you know what?
It's a good thing, though.
It was good. And I'm not saying we don't want people to be passionate.
Passion is
I want some passion that makes me interested.
It's just...
It's like a football match.
Yeah.
No, we're not promoting group polarization.
It's called soccer.
It's Australian football. It's completely two different things. Australian football.
Hockey. No, okay, we're not doing teams. No teams.
That's a different podcast.
No, but it's exciting. It's not like fighting.
No, I got so excited when I saw someone actually for the first time come and step on the agree. Like they wanted this bill, they agreed.
Yeah.
I think the cool thing is everybody left feeling good. They felt
good. And that was what was really good, was to see these people leave after. And I thought someone would have just stuck around for like 5 minutes max, but they got really involved.
Hour discussion.
And I mean, it was cold out there too, so
We were trembling. Yeah.
But that being said, it was a great situation overall.
Definitely. Okay. It was a good discussion. I'm devastated that I didn't click the freaking record button right.
We live, we learn.
I know, but guys, if you could have only heard the words of these students, they were like impressive. I'm like, I think we should have these students be in government instead of the government we have.
In all honesty, if you guys are seeing this, try to reach out to us because we would love to talk again and get you on camera because it was a great discussion with all of you. If we could get all of you, that'd be a miracle.
Oh, no.
But even if we get some of you.
Wrapping up, we're very excited to come to you. We're new here in Canada, Alberta, but we're going to dissect a lot of bills and policies, hopefully get good interviews with some of these political people, and best of all, we're going to have students even come on.
And we'll talk about some hot topics that are in either the news or on social media that are hot, or just topics in general that come across that we feel that are important to talk about, or whatever. Go from there.
Yeah, we'll go bring up anything that's relevant, that's, you know, something that's up for discussion and something that's really important for us in Canada. You know, we're not going to be focusing on the United States. You know, we're Canadian-based, you know, the non-profit. That's the
But
plan.
we will be touching on effects that are happening in the U.S. that affect us here in Canada.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I mean, there'll be worldwide topics still.
Yeah, 'cause
but
everything is touching together. Everything is
We're
connected.
all tied somehow together.
and like I said, hot topics happen. They come up and say something, all right, just for fun here. Something happens in Australia, your homeland. If it's important enough, why not talk about it? I mean, especially if it ends up affecting us in any way. Which I think in the world, everything does affect everybody to some degree.
They all do effect. And so that's why we want to focus here. But if there's anything that's connected, we're going to bring it up.
For now, thank you for joining us. Again, I'm one of your hosts, Stephanie.
I'm James.
Jeremy.
And we'll see you all next time, hopefully. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Follow us. Come on, guys. Like, why not? I know that you
Only
know
gonna
that
get
I
so
know.
much better from here.
Just follow, subscribe, and we're out.
This pain is breaking me. This world is taking me. And in these eyes lies a hero. The faintest heartbeat, it echoes a shadow of hope beyond these walls. Signs of a hero, like the fall of the rain as it washes over. The world's born again. When the waves come crashing in, we will not back down. And when the lights start growing dim, we will stand our ground. It's what we prayed for. It's what we prayed for. It's what we prayed for. The time's come to rain.